bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my March book haul video. Sorry that it's coming to you super late. I had a lot going on in March. We had family visiting from out of state, and then that was like days of being around a ton of people, and as you guys know, I'm an introvert, so then the weekend after that I really needed time to just relax and not talk to anyone, and now I'm finally ready to film again. So here we go. First I'm going to show you some new releases, then some backlist books. I also have some comics and manga, and I have quite a few Star Wars books to share with you. First, Simon & Schuster was kind enough to send me a finished copy of Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu, and I already read this book and I super loved it, and you will hear about it in my March wrap-up video. It follows Magnus and Alec, and it's them going on a trip to Europe together to kind of like have a vacation after everything that goes on in the Mortal Instruments, and it's just so cute. Then I got The Near Witch by Victoria Schwab. This is actually Victoria Schwab's debut, but it didn't sell that well when it first came out, and it actually went out of print. But now that she is a more successful author, she's had the opportunity to republish the book and resell it in its new beautiful package, and I'm so excited that she did because I've always wanted to read this one, but like I said, out of print, so it wasn't the easiest to find. I really like the new design, and it actually has, if you can see at the top, like a ribbon bookmark in it, which I think is awesome, and really pretty end papers. Then I got Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. This I also read in March, so you will also hear about it in my March wrap up, but I also really enjoyed this one. It's like a really interesting contemporary with a sci-fi kind of twist. It follows these girls who go to this school, and something is very off there, and they're all very oppressed by the men who run the school, and it's really like you just find out more and more as you keep reading, and it really keeps you addicted to find out like what the heck is going on. Then I got The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is the sequel to Geekerella. It's actually more of a companion than a direct sequel. It follows Imogen and Jessica Stone. Jessica plays Princess Amara in the Starfield movie that was rebooted, and Imogen is obsessed with that movie, but Princess Amara dies at the end, and she does not think that the character was done justice, so she starts this online campaign to save Princess Amara, and Jessica is like totally done with the series and she wants to move on with her life, but the two of them end up at a convention together and they switch places, and it's very cute. Then I'm so excited for this one. It actually doesn't come out until July, but I cannot wait to read it. Scholastic sent me Truly Madly Royally by Debbie Regaud. It follows a girl named Zora who gets accepted into this prestigious summer program, and she's not expecting to friend any of her very privileged classmates, but she's really looking to like kind of change the world, and then she ends up bonding with this guy, and turns out that he is actually the prince, like his parents are the king and queen of a small European country, and then he invites her to be his date to his older brother's wedding. It's got a whole lot of things that I love in here. I love things with royals, and I think it's gonna be really fun that there's also a royal wedding aspect. I'm just really excited to read this one. It's such a perfect summer contemporary. Then Penguin sent me a copy of This Book Is Not Yet Rated by Peter Bugnani. This one I'm really excited to read because I looked into it further when it came in the mail. I hadn't heard of it before then, but it actually follows a group of kids who work at a movie theater, and they're trying to save their theater from being closed, and working at a movie theater was the first job that I ever had, and I really loved it. Like, we just had so much fun all hanging out together and getting to see free movies and eat popcorn like all the time. So I feel like this is going to be a really nostalgic read for me, and I cannot wait to dive into it. Then Simon sent me a bound manuscript of As Kismet Would Have It by Sandhya Menon. This is actually a sequel, very short story to When Dimple Met Rishi, and it follows them on a date that they go on together, and it sounds like it's going to be adorable. But the best news about this one is that you can actually read the story for free on rivetedlit.com. So if you're interested in finding out what happens after the book ends, you've got 60 more pages to go on. Then I got Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which, oh my god, it is one of the best books that I have ever read. I love it so much. It's pretty much like Almost Famous, which is my favorite movie besides like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and I just could not get enough of this book when I read it. I didn't read it until the beginning of April, so it won't be in my March wrap up, but you will hear me talk about it more soon, and just know that I adore adore this book. And then I also decided to take a chance and pick up The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Everyone on BookTube talks about this book and talks about loving this book so much, and my two best friends read this book and told me that it was their least favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book. So I had always been kind of on the fence about getting it because I read one of her other ones and I felt kind of on the fence about it. Like, I thought it was fine, but it wasn't anything that I was like, I need to read everything she's ever written. So I had skipped this one when it was initially coming out, and then the hype has just gotten to me, and then since reading Daisy Jones, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get Evelyn Hugo and I'm gonna try it out and I will see how I feel about it. I'm still a little bit hesitant, but I am interested because there really is just so much hype surrounding it, so I kind of want to see what it's all about for myself. I also got Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly, and this book was actually sent to me by Random House, so thank you Random House for this book. This is a historical fiction novel, and it's a companion novel to Lilac Girls, which came out earlier. And as you guys know, I've been getting more into historical fiction, so I'm really excited to have another book to add to my TBR. I think that I will probably try to read Lilac Girls first, although from what I understand, you really don't have to, because that seems to be how historical novels are done. Like, they tend to be companions and it doesn't really matter what order you read them in, but my like series trained self is used to like trying to read in publication order, so I think I'm gonna try to read Lilac Girls first. I also got A Heart and a Body in the World by Deb Coletti, and this is a Prince Award winner, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It's actually on my April TBR, but I haven't gotten to it just yet, and I'm definitely planning on picking it up very soon. It's about a girl who's been through something. I don't exactly know what that something is, but she's living with survivor's guilt, and then she kind of takes solace in running, and I've just heard such incredible things from so many people, and it's an award winner, and once I read it, I'll be able to cross off the last box on my book bingo in my bullet journal and start a new board, so pretty excited for that. Then my friend DJ was kind enough to give me his copy of Fairy Tales for Wild Girls. This is a book that I've wanted to read for so many years. My friend Cassie read it when I first met her, probably like 6 or 7 years ago at this point, and she really loved it, but at the time it was only available in Australia and it was never published in the United States. And DJ ended up finding a copy on Book Depository at some point, and he read it and enjoyed it, but he didn't want to keep it, so he sent a message in our text group asking if anyone wanted it, and I was like, oh my god, I want that book, so he gave it to me, and I can't wait to read it. And basically there's like a dead girl that is trapped in a bird cage in the woods, and the main character of this story needs to find out the truth of what happened to this dead girl before a ghost steals her last breath. That sounds exactly like something I would love. Then DJ was also kind enough to give me his copy of The Storm Crow by Kaylin Josephson. This is one of the books that was on my most anticipated fantasy of 2019. It comes out in the summer, and it is a fantasy, but it's set in like a tropical atmosphere, which I think is really cool. They find a hidden crow egg, and the two sisters who are ruling the kingdom come up with a plan to take back their kingdom. Then I picked up a copy of
The Hero of Ages
by Brandon Sanderson. This is the really pretty hardcover edition from Book Depository. I think it's like an anniversary type edition, but I have the first two already, and I was only missing this one, and I didn't realize that it already came out and that I hadn't pre-ordered it, so I got it. Then my friend Rachel gave me her copy of The Binding by Bridget Collins. This is actually an ARC. It was just recently published, and it is a historical like mystery type novel, and it really revolves around stories and like the power of stories, so I've been looking forward to reading this one. Then Orbit Books was kind enough to send me Seven Blades in Black by Sam Sykes. This one I'm really excited for. I absolutely love this cover. It is a huge fantasy, which I was not expecting it to be this long, but I'm so excited to read it. And it follows a girl whose magic was stolen, and now she is determined to get revenge and get back at all of these people, and it just sounds like it's gonna be so good. Next, I actually had to look through my February book haul to see if I had hauled these or not, and I hadn't. I got a whole lot of Witcher novels. First is The Last Witch by Andrzej Sapkowski. This one I already read and I loved, which is why I bought so many of the next ones, because I am for sure continuing the series. This is the book series that the popular video game The Witcher is based on, and there's going to be a Netflix adaptation coming later in the year. So I really wanted to dive into the world before that came out so I can kind of get a handle on what was going on, and I just like having like prior knowledge before I go into films. So even though this one isn't listed as the first book, this one actually is the first book. You'll want to read this and the next one, Sword of Destiny. Both of these are short story collections. Both of these were published before the Witcher books started being published. So technically these are book 1 and book 2, even though they aren't labeled that way. Then I got the next 3 that are labeled as the first 3 in the series, and those are Blood of the Elves. So going forward, this one, The Time of Contempt, and Baptism of Fire, these are all full-length novels. So the other ones are short stories, these ones are full-length novels, and yeah, can't wait to read them. Moving on to the Star Wars books that I have to show you. I did a whole lot of eBay bidding and collecting in the month of March, so I have quite a few Star Wars books to show you. I've really wanted to get everything in hardcover. There are only a couple that I'm still missing that are out of print, so they're kind of hard to find at this point, but I have like eBay alerts on them so that anytime they show up, I'm like, is this a reasonably priced one that I can bid on? And also, all of you will be very happy to know that I already filmed my Star Wars video about how to read in canon order and all of that kind of stuff, and that is coming the first week of May is when I'm going to put it out. It's filmed, it's coming, don't worry. This one is actually a new release. This is Queen Shadow by E.K. Johnston. This I actually read in March, so you'll hear about it in my March wrap-up, but I really loved it. It answered a lot of questions that you might have after seeing the prequels, and it was just such a beautiful book about friendship, and I just loved it to pieces. And it showed Padme's transition from queen into senator. Then I got A New Dawn by John Jackson Miller, and this one is the story, it comes before Star Wars Rebels, and it tells the story of how Kanan and Hera met each other and teamed up and went on to have all the adventures they did in Rebels. Then I got Tarkin by James Luceno. This was another eBay purchase. Thank you, eBay. And this one follows Grand Moff Tarkin, and I'm very excited to learn more about his story. Then I got Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad by Christy Golden. Christy Golden wrote Dark Disciple, which is one of my favorite Star Wars books that I have read yet, so I'm very excited to read another one by her. This one I think is more based on like the video games, so this I really have no knowledge of like at all, and I'm very excited to see what that world is all about. And then finally I got Aftermath Life Debt by Chuck Wendig. This is the second book in the Aftermath trilogy, and this is everything that takes place after Return of the Jedi, this whole trilogy. So I'm looking forward to this because I've been reading a lot of books that are earlier in canon so that I can kind of like get everything in order, and I really haven't gotten to the books that focus on my golden trio, Han, Leia, and Luke, and I'm really excited to do so. Then I realized I somehow forgot to show you that I also got the UK edition of Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. I really enjoyed the first book in the series. I'm very much looking forward to getting to the second one, but the second one, the UK cover is just so much better than the US cover. The US cover looks very sci-fi to me, and the series is really more fantasy. From having read the first one, I don't know if anything changes in the second book, but I really am looking forward to getting to this one. It is so long, and the first one took me forever, but worth it. Then I got New York in Bloom by Georgiana Lane. You might remember that I actually have her first book, Paris in Bloom, but this one's all about New York City, and cherry blossom season is like my favorite thing in the world. So I'm really looking forward to flipping through this. It's actually, I don't actually think that there are any words in this book. It's all just like pretty photos of New York and pretty photos of cherry blossoms. So I'm very much looking forward to just flipping through this and like maybe when I'm having a hard day or something, sitting down with a cup of tea. I take it back, there are some words because I just flipped through it very minimally. It's way more photos. Next I have manga to share with you. First, I got the first volume of Vinland Saga. This is a manga about Vikings, and I've been really wanting to read it. I've heard really good things about it, so I figured that I would pick up the first volume, give it a shot, and if I like it, then I will buy more of them. Then I got volume 2, volume 3, and volume 4 of Full Metal Alchemist, and these are the full metal editions that are still currently being published, but I really like hardcovers a lot, and I really appreciate that they are reprinting Full Metal Alchemist in hardcover, so I'm collecting these as they come out, and I've actually never read the series, so I'm looking forward to starting it. Then I have Sailor Moon Eternal, volume 3. These are bind-ups of the Sailor Moon manga, and these look much more similar to the versions that were published in Japan. In each volume, there are some full color illustrated pages, which is so pretty. And I just love, there's more color, but I just love like how big and beautiful these look in this edition. Pages are glossy. Then I got Ancient Magus Bride, The Silver Yarn. This is the second light novel in the Ancient Magus Bride series. I started catching up on the manga during Otaku-a-thon and I love it and I can't wait to read the light novels. Then I got some more volumes of Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight. I just realized that some of them are over there because they're in my I read this in April pile. And so this is actually the 5th one. I had the first, I got the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and I have now read all of them that I own, and I need to go back to Kinokuniya and get more of these because I need to know what happens next. And lastly, I'm so excited about this. Dark Horse finally started publishing the bind-ups of the Legend of Korra comics. So these ones follow the Legend of Korra series. The first is called Turf Wars, and this is a bind-up of 3 graphic novels within one book, and I'm really looking forward to reading more of this and seeing more of Korra and Asami and like Lin. I love him, like just the whole gang. I can't wait to get into this. So those are all of the books that I got, and now I'm going to unbox my owl crate for you. This month is Murder and Mayhem, and I'm very excited to see what is in here. I've been waiting to open this until I could film, and I actually was not spoiled for anything on Instagram, which is very surprising. If you don't already subscribe to Owl Crate, you can use my code, which you can find down below, and you'll get a discount on your first box. I will again do close-ups of everything. Here's our art card. So first we have this drawstring backpack that has, oh, I'm holding it upside down, wow. So the bottom has like the leather, which makes sense. It's canvas and it has skulls all over it, which is pretty cool. Then we've got a cup. Ooh. It says never flinch, never fear, never forget. So this is obviously a Nevernight cup, and this is a really beautiful, I love the roses. That's amazing. I think this is probably gonna be my favorite thing in this box. I'm very happy. Then we've got a candle, and it is a Malachi candle, and it smells like pomegranate. It smells really good. It's by In the Wick of Time. I really like their scents. I don't know what book it's from though, so I'm gonna look that up quick. Aha! It's from This Savage Song, which I have not read yet, and I was actually just considering picking up the other day, so that's pretty funny. Then we've got a really cool enamel pin, and you can actually move the arrow on here. It has a compass, and this is actually based on Four Dead Queens. Then we have a bookmark from Ink and Wonder, and it's a wooden bookmark, and it says, when the snows fall and the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. And I think that this is a Game of Thrones bookmark, and that is a direwolf that we've got on there. Then we've got this cute sticker that says, I want revenge, and then I want my crown. That's awesome. And this is based on the 3 Dark Crown series by Kendara Blake. Then we've got this pencil that says One Conspiracy, Four Dead Queens. Finally, we have the book, which is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz. This is much more red than the original cover. The original cover is blue, but I actually like this better because I tend to like warm colors. We've got the book signed by the author. We've got a little art card of the queens. And then lastly, we have the letter from the author herself. Then we've got the spoiler card for next month. So the theme of the April box is the dark side. That's exciting. And the sneak peek is every April box will include an exclusive scarf designed by Bookmarked Tattoos. That's really exciting. Ah, fun. I'm gonna have to look up what that book is gonna be. And then as always in here, just so you can see the difference between the Owl Crate cover and the original cover. But that is everything that came in this month's box. I hope that you guys enjoyed my book haul, enjoyed my unboxing, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!